These wobbly out of balance ceiling fans is something we all deal with at some time or another. Today I'm going to show you exactly how to fix it. It takes just a little bit of persistence, but it's not a difficult thing to do. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is drop this shroud, make sure all the screws are tight. And make sure the screws that are holding the blades in are tight. Now this fan uses a different type of connection. There are no screws, but I will check the blades and make sure there's no wobble. And there's not. Next step is to actually balance this fan. So let me show you how to go about that. So one thing you can do to simplify balancing the fan is you can tilt it, and if it's really out of balance, then one blade will go towards the bottom, indicating that that one's heavy, and then you need to add weight to the other side. So first thing I'm going to do is tilt this and see if those blades move. Look at that, they're already turning. I'm just going to hold it here until we see where it settles. Now, if it's not very out of balance, this may not work, but if it does work, then that will certainly save you some time. So it's worth trying. Okay, well, it definitely looks like it's settling towards this blade over here, right here. So I'm gonna mark this blade so I don't lose it. I'm just gonna put a little piece of painter's tape on it so I know which blade it is we're working with. And then the next thing we'll do is actually try to balance it by adding some weight to the opposite side. Now, if tilting it doesn't help you, then there's one other thing you can do. You can tilt it and give the blade a small push and see if a particular blade goes towards the lower end. If it does, then try that 2 or 3 times and make sure it's the same blade. And if so, then you know which blade is the heavy blade. Let me show you. Don't give it too much of a push, but a little bit of a push to get it started. See where it stops, mark that blade, do it again. If it's the same blade, you want to verify it 2 or 3 times, and then you know where the heavy side is, so then you can start putting weights on the opposite side. This doesn't work all the time, but if it does, then it will certainly speed up the process of balancing the ceiling fan. So this is a standard ceiling fan balancing kit. These are weights. They've got sticky tape on the back side. You peel that off and you stick it onto the blade. This is a clip that you use. This is what you use temporarily. You slide it onto the edge of the blade. You turn the fan on, see if that helps. If it does help, great. And if it doesn't, then you move it to another blade. Once you find the blade where it starts helping, then you will slide it. You may slide it in closer to the center of the blade. You may take it out further towards the edge. And obviously, the further out away from the center it is, the more of an effect it'll have. So you find the blade where it starts helping, and then you move it back and forth. Then once you get that ceiling fan balanced with this, you will put one of these on top of the blade, and you'll pull this off, and then this will stay on the blade permanently. And sometimes it takes more than one weight. Maybe it takes weight on 2 blades, depending on how the ceiling fan is unbalanced. So let's balance this ceiling fan. Okay, so what you want to do, you're going to put the clip on a blade, and since we know that this is the heavier blade, you're going to go opposite that, and we'll try this blade. And you want to put it about halfway. Then we'll turn the fan on and see if that helps, and we'll make adjustments from there. So that's already looking better. If you look at the chains though, the chains are a pretty good indicator of whether or not it's balanced, and they're wobbling or undulating back and forth just a little bit. So let's make an adjustment and see what happens. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this clip further out, because the further out it is, the more of an effect it has. So I'm going to move it out much closer to the end, and we'll see what that does. Okay, those chains are still swinging a little bit back and forth. I think we're getting better, but we're not quite there yet. So let's turn it off. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to slide this clip all the way out to the end and see if that helps. Those chains are barely moving. Could be that since that one blade was so heavy, we need a little bit of weight on two different blades, the two blades that are opposite the heavy one, and maybe that'll fix it. So let's give that a try. Okay, what I'm going to do, okay, here's the heavy blade. Here's the blade we've been working with. Here's the other blade that's directly opposite the heavy blade. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tape a quarter onto the other blade, and I'm going to put it in the center and see if that has an effect. Okay, let's see what happens. I don't think I'm going to get much better than that. I think some of this movement is on this chain is just from the air blowing. Okay, I'd say our ceiling fan is balanced. So now let me show you what we need to do. So what we need to do, take the backing off this weight. You want to put the weight right in the middle of the blade where the clip was. Remove the clip, and then take that quarter loose, and right where the quarter was, put the other weight. Now this weight may not be the exact same weight as the quarter, so turn the fan on and let it spin. If it doesn't quite counterbalance it, then move it out or move it in just a hair, and you should have a balanced fan. Okay, so if tilting the fan doesn't really tell you anything, then just randomly pick a blade, put the clip on it, turn the fan on and see if that makes the problem better or worse. Okay, to me, that looks like it might be worse. It's definitely not any better, so that's not the right blade. Let's turn the fan off. Okay, so let's find the blade with the clip. Okay, so putting it here made it worse. So let's go to the opposite side. Let's put it here and see if that helps. All right, let's turn the fan on, see what happens. Okay, those chains are moving. so it's not perfect. Oh, now the fan's starting to shake a little bit. Let's let it get up to full speed and full wobble. Okay, that's significantly better, but it's not perfect. So let's keep going. I'll turn the fan off. Okay, so that was better. What else can we do? This clip's almost all the way out to the end of the blade. One thing we can do is try the adjacent blade, because we never know where the unbalanced part is. If this blade is heavier, then it's opposite would be right here between these two. So let's see if putting the clip here helps any. Okay, turn the fan on. Okay, those chains are still swinging back and forth some, but the entire fan is no longer wobbling, so I think we're getting very close. Okay, got one last thing to try. I'm gonna turn the fan off. Okay, so what I want to do now, on the previous attempt we had the counterweight here, now we've got it here, and they both seem to help quite a bit. So I'm going to add this weight, which comes with the balancing kit, to this blade here, and not knowing where to put it, I'm gonna just put it in the middle. And we'll see what happens. Okay, that's looking a lot better. We still have a slight swing in the chains. I could certainly live with that, but I'm going to try to get it just a little bit better. So I'm going to shut the fan off. Okay, what I'm going to do now is move the weight that's on this blade. I'm going to move it out to about the 3/4 point, not knowing where it needs to go. We'll see how that does. So the swing in those chains has essentially stopped. I'm not a perfectionist, so this is definitely good enough for me. So we have one last step to do and we'll call this project complete. I'm going to shut the fan off. Last thing we need to do is just take this clip off, and we're going to replace it with one of these weights that comes with the balancing kit. And that should do it. Okay, let's give it one final try. Let me stop this chain. Well, I would say we have a balanced ceiling fan. It takes a little bit of time and tenacity, but this project can certainly be done in just a few minutes. I hope this video has been helpful to you. I really appreciate you watching. Have a wonderful day.